All that, the moon, all my info. I hope you guys enjoy this presentation. Alright, next. Alright, so, phases. The primary key to understanding the moon phases is to think about the whereabouts of the sun. After all, it is the sun that's illuminating and creating the day side of the moon. Moon phases depend on the sun. They depend on where the moon is with the respect of the sun in space. Another key to understanding moon phases is to remember that like the sun and all the planets and stars, the moon rises in the east and sets in the west each and every day. It has to. The rising and setting of all celestial bodies is due to Earth's continuous spin beneath the sky. Whoops, I accidentally deleted this part out because it was a little too long, but differences between solar and lunar eclipses. The lunar eclipses happen during the full moons, and that happens when the moon passes through Earth's shadow. And the solar eclipse happens during a new moon when the moon crosses in front of the sun. You can see here the sun's corona is the only visible part of the sun during that eclipse. All right, next. This is the new moon. All right. All right, so new moon. To understand the new moon phase, you must read the following. We can't see the new moon from Earth except during the stirring moments of solar eclipse. Then the moon passes in front of the sun and the night portion of the moon becomes visible to us, surrounded by the sun's fiery corona, which I just showed you. Once each month, the moon comes around all the way in its orbit so that it is more or less between us and the sun. If the moon always passed directly between the sun and Earth at new moon, a solar eclipse would take place every month. But that doesn't happen every month. Instead, in most months, the moon passes above or below the sun as seen from our earthly vantage point. Now, I didn't put it in here, but the reason why it doesn't happen every month is because the moon's orbit has a 5-degree tilt. So there's times that it'll just barely skim that eclipse point, and then there's times it'll just go right through there. Picture of the new moon. Now, this was taken from earthsky.org. You can't really see this during the day because the sunlit side is away, but this sliver is just showing you that that's the only part of the moon that is visible if it were nighttime, but the new moon rises at about 7 every morning and about 6 at every night. Can't see it during the day very well. Now, my favorite, waxing crescent. To understand a waxing crescent phase, you must recall. Note that a crescent moon has nothing to do with Earth's shadow on the moon. The only time Earth's shadow can fall on the moon is at a full moon during a lunar eclipse. There is a shadow on a crescent moon, but it's the moon's own shadow. Night on the moon happens on the part of the moon submerged in the moon's own shadow. Likewise, night on Earth happens on the part of Earth submerged in Earth's own shadow. Because the waxing crescent moon is nearly on a line with the Earth and Sun, its illuminated hemisphere, or day side, is facing mostly away from us. This is our current phase right now. We just finished new moon, so we're at this waxing crescent stage right now. Can't see it well during the day because you have that thin sliver. First quarter. First quarter moon. This moon appears half lit to us, and half moon is a beloved name, although not an official one. Still, it's good to recall that the illuminated portion of the first quarter moon truly is just a quarter. On the night of first quarter moon, we see half the moon's day side, or a true quarter of the moon. Another lighted quarter of the moon shines just as brightly in the direction opposite Earth. A first quarter moon rises at noon and is high overhead at sunset, and it sets around midnight. This is the picture of the new First quarter moon will be here next after the waxing crescent phase is over. Oh, just so you know, waxing means to grow bigger, as to waning after new moon is to shrink. Alright, waxing gibbous. The moon has moved in its orbit so that it's now relatively far from the sun in our sky. A waxing gibbous moon rises during the hours between noon and sunset. It sets in the wee hours after midnight. People sometimes see a waxing gibbous moon in the afternoon shortly after moonrise. While it's ascending in the east as the sun is descending in the west, it's easy to see a waxing gibbous moon in the daytime because of this phase of the moon. A large fraction of the moon's day side is facing our way. The four easiest phases to see during the two during the daytime is the waxing gibbous in the first quarter because you have the bigger portion of the moon showing. Here's a picture of the waxing. Wait, nope, that's waning. I got it mixed up. Alright, now for full moon. At full moon, the moon and sun are on a line. With Earth in between, it's as though Earth is the fulcrum of a seesaw, and the moon and sun are sitting on either end of the seesaw. So as the sun sets in the west, the full moon rises. When the sun is below our feet at midnight, the full moon is highest in the sky. When the sun rises again at dawn, the full moon is setting. If there is a lunar eclipse, it must happen at full moon. It's only at full moon phase that Earth's shadow extending opposite the sun can fall on the moon's face. Alright, waning gibbous. The moon is past full now. Once again, it appears less than full, but more than half lighted. What can I say about a waning gibbous moon? Only that it can surprise you if you happen to be out late in the evening. It rises eerily some hours after sunset, glowing red like a full moon when it's near the horizon. Sometimes it looks like a mishappen clone of a full moon. And here's a photo of the waning gibbous again. Next, third quarter moon. Alright, last quarter moon comes about 3 weeks after new moon. Now as seen from above, the moon is in its orbit around Earth is at right angles to a line between the Earth and Sun. The moon is now 3/4 of the way around it in its orbit of Earth, as measured from one new moon to the next. It is very cool to see the last quarter moon just after it rises around midnight. The image of the just after the last quarter moon rises, its lighted portion is always facing downward, more or less toward the horizon. Why? Because you're on the midnight portion of Earth, with the sun below your feet, just as it's below this moon. Waning crescent moon. Because the moon is nearly on a line with Earth and Sun again, the day hemispheres of the moon is facing mostly away from us once more. We only see a slender fraction of the moon's day side, a crescent moon. Each morning before dawn, because the moon is moving eastward in orbit around Earth, the moon appears closer to the sunrise glare. We see less and less of the moon's day side, and thus the crescent in the east before dawn appears thinner each day. Here's how the phases occur visually. So you're going to have your new moon, daylight is away, your crescent, your quarter, your gibbous, then your full moon, then your waning gibbous, third quarter, waning crescent again, and all the while Earth is in the middle. Hate to be Earth. Alright, next, the origin of the moon. The leading theory has been the giant impact hypothesis. However, research continues on this matter, and there are a number of variations and alternatives. Other proposed scenarios include captured body, fission, formed together condension theory, planetesimal collisions formed from asteroid-like bodies, and collision theories. The standard GIH, giant impact hypothesis, suggests a Mars-sized body called pronounce it Theia, impacted Earth, creating a large debris ring around the Earth, which then formed the system. Collision ring theory, diagram of it. So your planet-sized object strikes Earth. That will be your first part. Then your second, all your debris spills out. Third, it makes your ring, a body forms. Then fourth, it crashes more and more, making more debris, and then it starts spinning around once it gets into a valid orbit, and then your celestial bodies have formed. Next, what do I have here? Review. There are 8 phases. The moon was formed by the collision ring theory. The moon does not produce its own light. It refracted light from the sun. The different shapes are called phases. The Earth has nothing to do with the different shapes. It is the moon's own shadow. The moon rotates Earth every 29.5 days, and the moon's shadow and orbital motion causes these shapes or phases. Alright, we don't need that one. Where's the sound? I don't need the sound. I don't need the sound. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this presentation with me today. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yes, I do. I have a question. Right now you said we're in which stage?
The waxing crescent.
The waxing crescent. And I noticed last night, I was actually looking at that and saw that. What is the bright star off to the side of it?
Well, if I can pull up the website real quick. I saw this a couple days ago. Two planets, Mars and...
Come on.
Sorry, that was a hard question.
Hold on a second. I'm getting it.
You're not gonna get the net.
Alrighty. Almost there. Let's see. So it was Mars and Venus. Venus
Together?
Well, what happens is, so they're both on either side of us, yet as they're orbiting slower than we are, so we can bypass them. And from where we're looking, they look like they're both on either side of us, yet they're on different sides.
So it's a combination of the two then?
Exactly.
Okay.
Andrew, do you study other things about the solar system as well?
Not really. I usually spend most of my time on the moon.
You did a good job.
Any other questions?
What got you so interested in the moon? Like, do you learn about it in school, or?
Well, last year I liked the periodic table and the elements and like atoms and that, like nothing else. And now, after going to school here and going with having my new science teacher teach us about the moon, she taught us things that I never knew before, and that's what got me really interested in it.
Very good job.